They named the court after Gigi and myself.
Oh man, that is nice.
Jim Mark. Gino.
That is nice. Oh man, welcome to another episode of Below the Rim podcast, brought to you by Reps on Reps Hoops. Great honor to be here. Again, my name is Marcus Dixon, co-host. Nick's in the corner; he's here behind the camera today. We had a very, very special guest, four-time recipient of the Coach of the Year award, three-time state champion in 2010, 13, and 15, two-time Florida Dairy Coach of the Year. His tenure here at Providence, he's 566 wins and 122 losses. Graduate of the Jacksonville University in 1981. Jacksonville Basketball Academy founder, and also 2022-2023 Reps on Reps Coach of the Year and All-Star Coach, and considered one of the best coaches in Florida, Jim Martin. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Marcus.
See, I did my homework.
See you guys.
I
Yeah,
did
that's
my homework,
impressive.
man. Yeah, we
I
tried.
forgot a couple of those
Yeah.
stats. That's awesome.
Yeah, we try to do. Thank you for having us out, man. This is very special.
It's a pleasure to
us.
have you guys. I really respect all the stuff that Reps on Reps does, and you guys are the forefront of
I
making
appreciate it.
basketball great in Jacksonville.
I appreciate it. Funny story. You guys played Episcopal early on last season, and we were supposed to go to the game together, but he didn't show up. Bailed out on me. So the main goal is to come to that game and like introduce what we do to you. And I'm at the game, terrified. I'm like, man, I can't go up and show this man what we do. He may tell me no or get out my face. And he was like, kept texting me, just go, man, just go, just go. And I'm like, bro, I'm not going up there to talk to that man. And fast forward to now, we're face to face in the conversation. So it means a lot
No, I
to
think
us.
you guys, the stuff you're doing is making basketball better, and then old guys like myself need to pass on some stuff to that next generation of basketball guys that we can improve, make better. And I think you guys are at the forefront of doing some great things. And I really enjoy being part of what you guys got
Oh,
going.
no, I appreciate it. That means a lot. So 24 years, coming from 24?
24 years at Providence,
At Providence.
and then 5 great years at Bishop Kenny.
Bishop Kenny? Oh,
Yeah.
I know, that's something new right there.
Yeah.
So talk to us about, those 24 years of staying so consistent and dominant, even when the basketball changes around you. So talk about that. Staying consistent.
No, we've been fortunate. We from day one have had kids that have bought into the team, and when you give it all for the team and you don't have a personal agenda, it's easy to put some guys and mold some guys together. I would say early on we were very slow, deliberate, worked the ball around, probably scored in the 40s, won a lot of games. Probably about 5 years into my career, we started getting a little bit better athletic kids, started playing a little faster, winning. And then in 2008, 2009, I started getting the Division I guys coming in. And then we were very fortunate from 2010 to 2015, Max Prep for a 5-year period had us ranked in the top 25 in the country.
Okay.
And those are all good years. This group I've got now, some of the nicest kids I've ever coached. So it's really been a blessing to have a bunch of kids that are good kids that want to win and then sell out for the team.
Oh, nice. I'm happy you said that about the players. So I want to transition to this question. You had the pleasure of coaching some amazing, great players. I'll name a few. If I leave some out, just don't attack me, all right? So you got Patrick Young, Will Cummings, Christian Terrell, Wyatt Walker, LaDarian Griffin, and Grayson Allen, right? What is something that all of those guys have in common that made them special while they were here?
I would say all of those guys were great leaders on the court and off the court. And I think when that leadership comes from your best player, it's so much better than trying to be driven by the coach. One player that's not on that list that I have to comment, I really think he's the catalyst of where we went with this. He came to us as a freshman. His name was Wayne Martin.
Okay.
No relationship to me, but he came here and he was part of that 2010 state title.
Okay.
6'7", has records that'll never be broken at the school. But when he got here, he solidified that we were legit
Okay.
in giving the big time players an opportunity to play at a great program and then go on to play Division I basketball.
Oh, nice. Speak on your relationship with Grayson Allen now. How is that? How is that like?
It's great.
Yeah.
He doesn't get back in town as much as he used to.
Mm-hmm.
He's married. He's got a beautiful wife. But when he does get back, we either go over to his parents' house and we go over there, or we'll go out and get something to eat.
Oh,
And it's
nice.
always great. And then he's so gracious as a guy. When we meet up, he always wants his teammates there. He always wants the coaches that were on that staff. So we'll go and there'll be 15 guys that'll be there.
He takes care of the bill, right?
Yeah, well, he will from this point on. He's got the big money going now. But early on when he first got drafted, I think I picked up the first tab.
Okay, that's nice. All right, so you spent some time in the Army, if I'm not mistaken. You was commissioner in the Army.
Yeah.
Rose up to captain. How does that translate to being a coach? Like, what are some things you learned from being, a captain to now being a coach?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that transcends over to being a head coach. Luckily, I was a captain in the United States Army, and I was in charge of a lot of men, a lot of equipment. And when we treat this with our guys as being in charge and having a mission, just the mission is basketball. And so it was a great experience. It took a young guy and really helped grow in those leadership traits. It was a good 10 years I had in the United States Army.
I would say just by watching you, man, you're ultra competitive. All right, so you came into the All-Star game, and I was thinking you was going to come and just be the face and just watch. But you were competitive, man. You wanted to win. So I wanted to transition that into 2017. You were awarded the opportunity to coach McDonald's All-American game. Talk about that experience and how that meant to you.
That was a great experience. Spent a week in Chicago. My whole family went. Had an honor and pleasure of coaching the greatest players in 2017. And it was a great week. I'm not sure how much coaching I did in the game. Those guys are on their own. You let those guys play. But it was probably one of the highlights of my career.
Oh, that's nice to hear. But a couple months ago, you coached in the All-Star game, our All-Star game. Tell the people how that was for you.
That was awesome too. When you get an opportunity like that with you guys at FCCJ was the game. They're all good kids. Mm-hmm. They're all like sponges. You just can give them stuff. They want to take it. Mm-hmm. You get where their head is. You get to try to help them. You try to get them to a school. You try to get them in front of somebody. Right. But it's I feel like it's a calling. Mm-hmm. Just to help kids. It's just my avenue is through basketball.
I know. Yeah, we appreciate that because we were aiming. When we reached out to you, we were expecting like a no. But we was okay with that. It was like he responded to us, so we'll take it. But when you responded with you would love to do it and be a part of it, that was a shock to us. But we appreciate it to this day.
No, you guys are great guys. I mean, anything you do, I'm going to be involved in. But that was an honor to coach those guys, and I was intense in that game. I think very competitive. I think I wake up every morning. I'll do my devotions, and then I'm ready to compete all day. And I don't want to just be average. I want to be great every day. I want to be able to go to bed at night thinking I've done something great. And if you're around young kids all the time, you got an opportunity every day to do something great.
Oh, man, that was beautiful. You saying being around young kids. Talk about Jacksonville Basketball Academy. I'm going to let you take the floor and tell us what is it, how'd you get it started and, those things.
Yeah, I started about 15 years ago. Just training a few kids here at Providence, and it kind of grew. And I had a friend of mine build us our first gym off Beach Boulevard, and it was fantastic having our own facility. And the facility grew. We were doing about 250 kids a month. Mm-hmm. We were able to expand and get 2 more facilities. Those facilities are called Above Basketball Academy, where my son runs one, and then we have another business manager that runs the 3rd facility. But it's really taking in young kids, primarily 3rd through 10th grade, and it's all player development, it's mentoring, it's being a good teammate, but it's learning the game of basketball the right way, which is always going to be in the fundamentals.
So is that connected, JBA and above?
They're connected.
One? Okay.
They're connected. They're connected in the fact that they're all my academies.
Mhm.
We just, as we expanded out of Jacksonville, felt like there'd be a better name. And the above basketball has a great, when you think of above, there's so many
Mhm.
great meanings with that we wanted to use that. And at the same time, I didn't want to give up on what I started
Right.
15 years ago,
Mhm.
which is the Jacksonville Basketball Academy. So,
Absolutely.
but it's run by my family.
So talk to us about the struggles and operating something like that of that magnitude for so long. Talk about some things you had to overcome, some struggles that you even face today.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing early on is a little bit of fear whether you can take on a facility. You look at some of the cost and you got to project some numbers and you got to
Mhm.
think that we can't get hurt. We have truly been blessed to be able to do some great things at those three, but it makes you a couple of nights not sleep when you have to write a put some money down on the
Mhm.
table for these facilities. But I'm a big believer in the Lord will bless you if you're doing right things, and we try to do right by these kids, and we try to be a mentor to these kids. But we also want to teach basketball to these kids as well.
You guys do a great job. Is Tommy Houlihan connection to that early on? How was that?
So Tommy was part of it.
Mm.
Tommy, myself. Tommy was my first assistant coach at Providence back in 2000,
Okay.
and he's fantastic. He's probably
Great
one of
guy.
the top
Yeah.
coaches, probably one of the nice guys.
Mhm.
And we started a rec league, and it still goes. Tommy runs the rec league.
Mhm.
From there, we expanded out
Mhm.
to the academy,
Oh, nice.
and we kind of took that over, got the facilities, and then it's just been great.
That's nice. You mentioned Tommy is one of your assistants, and we love talking about having quality assistants around you on this show. Talk about how your assistants kind of help you navigate throughout the season.
Oh, I got the greatest staff in the world, with guys that I think are next level guys that are devoted to this program. We have 5 or 6 coaches that give us their all. All have been at a high level,
Mhm.
and we're just fortunate to have them here. We have the funds that we can be able to do some of this. I wish every staff in Jacksonville could have those kind of coaches. It's hard when there's limited resources. We're able to put some stuff together and make it happen with these great coaches.
You guys got the longest bench in the city.
Longest bench and the tallest bench.
Yeah.
I think our shortest guy is like 6'3".
Oh man, we came to one game and you had guys like sitting like behind the bench. And I'm like, man, that's the whole roster right there. Where can these guys, like their assistant coaches, they're great at what they do, right? Why is it, I wouldn't say a struggle, but when are they ready to take that step into having their own program?
That's a great question. I think, and this is old school now, I think it's about a 3-year period that you have to absorb everything. You got to be familiar with the Florida high school rules. You have to understand, the chemistry thing. You have to understand player development, team development. And I think it's about a 3-year period that a coach should be in a program, try to absorb everything you can absorb. I think the guy's ready then. What I worry about is a coach that's never coached, and he's going to get a head coaching job. And maybe he's a former player. Those are the guys I worry about because they haven't. Being a former player and being a coach really is 2 different things.
But I think we're starting to see that more, especially in the city where, we have some quality assistant coaches that may not get a head coaching job over a guy that's played, 4 years ago, he's automatically a head coach. So I'm trying to figure out where is the disconnect on a quality head coach and assistant coach going into a head coaching position.
I think sometimes administrators buy on the name recognition and the resume looks good as a former player. I think you got to look for those guys that have been in the trenches, that have proven themselves, and they've dealt with parents, they've dealt with kids, they've done those things in a 2 or 3 year period of time. Those guys should be at the top of the list when it comes to high school basketball. I think the mistakes that have been made in this area have gotten guys that did not know what all the job curtailed. Where if somebody's in the ranks doing it now, they have a better feel for all the things that go into being a head coach at the high school level.
So you have a lot of memorable moments throughout your career. Give me one. Let's talk about one. Your greatest memory, something that you can think about and you're just like, man, that made me feel a way.
I would say 2 things. Winning the first state title in 2010 was a big moment. I would say the 2013 state title was big. Grayson Allen had his coming out. He was MVP. He was unbelievable. 15 was good. Those are all great memories. But I'll tell you some of the better memories that I've had that probably bring me to tears is when I get a call from a former player that wants me at his wedding, or he just had a baby, or he just got a job, and he got a great career, and he just married a beautiful person, and you think, man, all the basketball in the world is great, but now these young guys now are becoming young husbands, young fathers, and they're still reaching out like, Coach, thanks for everything. I think my career, things I learned from you is going to help me move on. Those are probably some of the best moments too.
Bigger than basketball.
It's bigger than basketball.
Between us. North Florida basketball, I would say when we started, we were, focused on improving it, trajectory going up, right? For you, where would you like to see it in a couple of years, or 5-6 years down the line?
I would love to see it get back a little bit to where, as you watch teams play, those players are so proficient in passing the ball, handling the ball. It seems like we've gotten away a little bit from the skill development in players and teams, that it's a lot of one-on-one. You don't see a lot of plays. I think we got to get back into that early in young players' careers, so that when they hit the high school ranks and you watch these teams, everyone out there says, wow, that team's good. Like, they move the ball, they pass the ball, they try to win every possession, they play defense, they play offense, they do all that. I think we're getting away from where it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago, where every kid could handle the ball, every kid could pass the ball. It was just part of how you grew up. You grew up on the playgrounds, you learned to play the game. That unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. So we've got to get back early on to teaching those great fundamentals that you came through, Marcus, as a young guy. We got to get that back to this next group of kids coming through.
Okay, so let me ask you this: when you're playing out of town teams, is there a different skill difference, like from Jacksonville teams and
Yes.
Orlando teams?
Yes. I've seen over the years where Miami, South Florida's passed us by. I would say Orlando's passed us by. We're probably in line with Tampa and then, Tallahassee and those areas. But those teams now, when you face them, and they're very difficult to beat, they're well-coached teams. Everybody can shoot it. Everybody can handle it. Everybody can pass it. Everyone can block out. They're much more. But if you look at those areas, they're still focused big time in player development.
The answer, really, I just want to say it. That one play you guys run, the slip play, works every time.
Yeah.
How? You don't have to explain it, but I'm just saying, like that.
We're fortunate like that, and I think that's part of teaching and coaching. That play works all the time. Is the attention to detail. You got to catch it in the right spot.
Right.
You got to execute the slip. You got to execute a pass that's very hardly ever used. It's a hook pass. And if you ask most kids what a hook pass was, they probably wouldn't know. And that's the example I'm talking about, is kids should be able to, one hand, make all kinds of passes, right hand, left hand, be able to hook it, feed the post. I've seen a lot of games. Team has a big kid, and the kid's playing behind them, and they still can't get the ball past the one defender.
Right.
Years ago, you never worried about the defender that was right in front of you. You only worried about the help defense. Now, I see guys open, can't set their pass up, can't make the first pass by the first defender. And we got to get better at that. This whole area's got to get better in that.
And that's what we're here for. We all got to, I feel like, you've been helping us a lot. Even if I reach out to you, you respond right away. You call back right away. Any information I ask you, you give it. Tommy Houlihan's the same way. If I reach out to him, he'll reach right back out. So I think us collaborating, like where we're good at, we can all continue to improve it, because it needs it. And you guys been passing on information to me, so I want to appreciate.
Absolutely. I think we have to have more coaches pulled together. We have to have guys like you guys be involved. There was a time period where it seemed like nobody wanted to mix in together, that everybody was afraid somebody was going to steal something from somebody, that it's okay to ask for help. It's no one should be intimidated by this. We're trying to do is make basketball better, and I think when that's in your heart, and we got to get more coaches involved. When that's in your heart, the product, the basketball, high school basketball around here will get better.
Oh, that was beautiful. All right, when it's all said and done, when you're hanging up the whistle, when you're putting down the clipboard, what do you want to be your coaching career, or even just who you are as a person, remembered as?
That's a great question. I really want to, with my players, and I just think about that relationship with the players. I just want those guys to be able to say, "Hey, man, he gave us all he had." He wasn't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
He coached every play. He was in the trenches with us. He never signed it off. He's always there for us. Never mailed it in, type thing. And I would love these guys to continue on being great husbands, great fathers, and come back and visit me in that whatever retirement home I'll be in some corner. But that's the relationships will be the things I remember the most. I'll forget about the wins and the losses and I will remember the state titles. But some of those things on the basketball court I'll probably forget. But those great memories of the people will be what I remember forever.
Oh, that's amazing. That's all we got for you.
That's awesome.
So before we go, I want to let you know we appreciate you. I appreciate you. He does. Reps on Reps community. The whole North Florida area community appreciates you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It means a lot too.
No,
thanks,
appreciate
brother.
you. Yes, sir.